Thank you, Larry. And I'm going to use that tactic that you have for now on at any event I speak at. I think I'm going to apologize before I speak and see if it works. I don't know if it will work today, being what things are what's going on up in Albany. And I know many of you are aware of many of the issues that are happening up in Albany, particularly the budget situation that we're in right now. And I know many of you have been up to Albany to see us, and it's good to hear that there's going to be a group coming up next week, because as I was talking with Dr. Carpati before, this is crunch time. Right now, these next 7 days up in Albany, next week is going to be crunch time. The budget is due the end of April. There will be a push to have a budget on time. Whether we are successful in doing that is another question, but the push will be there. So having your organizations up in Albany next week will be helpful to us, because, as you know, there have been many suggestions of cuts. There have been suggestions of revenue enhancers in order to get out of the $9 billion deficit that the state has. So there are a lot of decisions that need to be made, and a lot of hard decisions that need to be made. And so many of you in this room have helped. I see my colleague Matthew Tatone has arrived. Helped myself, Matt Tatone. Yes, Matt Tatone, Janelle Heyer-Spencer, Lou Tobacco, and Senators Savino and Lanza have helped us in pinpointing here on Staten Island the vital services that we need to protect in this upcoming decisions of cuts and the upcoming decision on the budget. We have I know in my office we have a roundtable that discusses mental health issues, and one of the members of that roundtable, Dr. Ken Poplar, has helped me in figuring out where on Staten Island these cuts will be the most devastating. And many of you have come up to us today and asked us, don't cut our programs. These are specific areas that we need to know when we make these decisions, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are going to be cuts, and I've said this at many of these legislative breakfasts. The last mental health breakfast, I mentioned this. There are going to be cuts, and that is where my colleagues and I depend on you as our Staten Island team and support group, is to help us identify where these cuts will be the most devastating to our residents here on Staten Island. And many of you have done that already, and I welcome you to do it in the next week or so when we're making these decisions. And these are going to be, again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, these are going to be tough cuts that we're going to have to make in this budget. It's a $9 billion deficit that we need to address, and it's something that unfortunately we're trying to find a revenue stream, but based on last year's issue of trying to get a revenue stream out of income tax, the money's not there. And the state right now, we're at a point right now where the state is running out of money to run their operations for this year. So these are decisions we're going to make. I'm asking you on behalf of our delegation, I'm sure my colleagues are going to also ask you to help us in this next week to identify where these devastating cuts will do the most hurt. And I know that many of you have come up to us today. I encourage you to come up to us during the next week. Today, unfortunately, I have to leave soon after speaking, and I apologize for that, because I make an effort to stay for the whole breakfast every year, and I don't think I've missed a breakfast since I've gotten elected. But because we're up in Albany 4 days this week, our staffs like to think that we can be at 2 places at one time. And right now, I'm supposed to be in the South Shore out near the Outer Bridge. I'm going to stick around for a little while, but if I have to leave, I have the packet. Larry, thank you. But we are familiar with all the cuts and with the issues that are important to you, but we're asking you, we're going to be contacting you in the next week to let you know what's on the table. And so we need some feedback. You've always been there for us. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for having us all here today. And I look forward to seeing you up in Albany, but I look forward to hearing from you in the next week. Thank you so much.